Well, hello there. It's Walt.
And of course it's Anne. By now you would expect Anne to be here.
Well, not always, but it's nice to see you. It's nice to have you here on the blog this week.
Thank you.
We were talking today about how difficult it is to be bad at something, to suck. And none of us...
I like when I suck, I so hate. Like, I don't want to suck, but they're the things that I suck at so many things.
Well, and the truth is that if you want to get good at something, if you want to try something new, you have to be willing to be bad at it. We see this over and over again in our work. We'll get a highly educated coach or consultant or business professional, lawyer, educator, construction expert, and they have developed all of this expertise in the world, mastery, in fact. And then they want to either take their work online, or perhaps they want to pivot into consulting or coaching, and all of a sudden they're faced with new skills, digital marketing skills, Facebook advertising, funnel development, blog writing, video stuff.
You ought to see these people when they start writing a book, because, they already know how to write, and oh my God, how sucky it is to learn how to write a book when you've never written a book before. You suck so bad in the beginning, and that's really hard on the ego, and it's really hard to hold steady during the suck phase, because you're so used to being good at something. The idea that you have to be bad for a while and then it gets better with practice is really tough emotionally to deal with.
And I'll tell you, it tends to send the faint of heart scurrying. Because mastery feels good. We show up with the skills of years and sometimes decades of expertise, and we're recognized in the world for the work we do. And the thought of sucking, the thought of not being good is just scary and frustrating. And that frustration will often turn people back. That will often turn people, even though they might be miserable with what they have, even though they might want to begin to scale their services and break free, even though they might want to create a different, more fulfilling life, they'll go back to the old thing because the old thing feels safe and feels comfortable. And, having that beginner's mind, having that desire to learn again, it can be rewarding. I remember when you and I got together and you said to me, honey, if I'm going to do that mountain climbing stuff, you're going to become a runner. Well, I had never run a marathon before. I remember my first 5K. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I was in pain for weeks. I sucked.
You sucked.
And I remember when you first put on a pair of crampons and carried an ice axe. It was like, what is this thing?
I sucked. And then, you get hurt and you suck and you're embarrassed because everybody is like way ahead of you. And there you are at the beginning stages again. Like the first time I put together a website, I think I cried. I was on the helpline for hours and I was crying and I was embarrassed that I didn't naturally know how to do this, even though I'd never been exposed to it. And, I'm not someone who reads a user's manual or, studies video. You think you should be good at everything.
You think you should be good. That's what gets in the way.
You think you should be good because you're good at one thing that has nothing to do with this.
Remember that conference that we went to where we listened to an hour-long presentation on Facebook advertising? We had to go back and rock back and forth in the hotel room. It sounded like some type of Martian dialect.
No, I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted, I could feel all this stuff coming up. I didn't know anything, what they were talking about. I wanted nothing to do with that. Because when you're at that nothing stage, your ego takes such a beating.
Yes, and we were talking as we were getting ready for this video about when we're young, Thankfully, we don't have all of this ego and head trash, you know, and thank God you didn't have these challenges when you were learning to walk, or you'd still be crawling. Oh my God, I so suck at walking. I think I'll just give up. Or bicycle riding, or, you know, any of those things that you enjoyed growing up, you naturally sucked at them for a long time. And the challenge now, if we want to have the work and the life we love, if we want to have a presence in the world, if we want to write a book, you got to write a shitty first draft. If you want to have a powerful keynote, God, I remember one time I stood in front of an audience and delivered what I thought was an amazing keynote.
Oh, you sucked.
Oh, I got to the end when everybody was supposed to clap, and I looked out and it was as if they had all just witnessed a horrible fiery crash. It was like, it sucked. And that's what we need to do to get better and better. That's what we need to do to create the work and the life we really love. We need to push into that discomfort.
You gotta embrace the suck.
And gotta embrace the suck. And so the life that you want, the scale that you want, the freedom that you want, the new skills that you want, you can achieve them. If you've gotten this far, if you've mastered all of what you've mastered this far, you can have it. But you got to lean in and embrace
the suck.
Embrace the suck. Make it a great rest of the day, great rest of the week. Talk soon.
Bye, guys.